got our cable, got our quick start guide, but I don't know how to use it, so that's okay. And we've got the mic and some silica gel. Here's the mic here. It's Roby might go. For size, it's about as my hand, so about as long as my hand. And it is powered by the camera through the 3.5mm jack. Okay, this parcel is literally so big that you can actually see me. It's about 40 centimeters long by about 30 wide. Weighs about 5.5 kilos. So we're gonna unbox this puppy right now. I've got my trusty knife from this morning. It's still actually Thursday. So this is the second package to arrive for me today. So this is a Pioneer GMD91, something like that. Plus a wiring harness for the car. So right here we've got our, this looks like 4-gauge wiring harness. So we've got our 4-gauge power, fuse, 5-meter RCA, ground would be somewhere in there. Sheathing for the engine bay, and we've got a few rubber grommets and stuff to actually get through the firewall of the vehicle. And I'm gonna have to slide this out somehow. There we go, the Pioneer GMD9601, rated apparently 2400 watts, but I know that its peak is about 1800 RMS, it's about 1600 RMS, so that's what we're actually expecting out of this. We're going to be driving the 2 Pioneer Champion series down to 1 ohm, so it is 1 ohm stable. And it comes with a bass knob for chilling up on the dash. So this amp itself weighs about 3.5 kilos. Yeah, it's 315 millimeters long by 220 wide and about 60 mils deep. So let's open this puppy. It's really hard to do when you can't see. Okay, so we've got some tape. There we go. Let's see if we can flip it upside down. Here we go. Oh. Okay, so the first thing we've got is an instruction manual on how to use your amplifier. This is also for the GMD8601, which is the model underneath this one. That's all I could actually get here locally. Here in Coffs Harbour you can't get the 9601 here. Unless you pay a ridiculous price for it. I got this amp for about $300 and something, including this wiring kit. But locally at our car audio retailers, we're looking at about $599 for this amp by itself, which is ridiculously overpriced, which is also why online exists. So, we've got our Pioneer owner's manual, and it basically tells us how to wire in and configure this amplifier. So I believe this is 4-gauge. It looks too thick to be 8-gauge, but my brother's got 4-gauge or 8-gauge in his car, so I'll go and compare it to that later. But it could be 8-gauge, but this is rated to do 4-gauge, this amp. It doesn't want anything other than 4-gauge. So I don't think they'd supply it with 8-gauge if that was the case. Anyway, we'll find out. No, it's 4-gauge. Just here. Yeah, if you're watching in 4K, you can see this. It says 4 AWG, so it's 4-gauge, which is good. Okay, so we're greeted with the actual amplifier itself. That is an aluminium or steel casing. I love that. We've also got another kit of goodies. So we've got a high to line in converter. This is if you want to tap your speakers straight into the RCAs on your amp. I won't be using this. I've got a converter coming which also spits out the remote signal to trigger this amp to start up. This is for applications if you don't want to run an RCA, but you still have a remote wire from your head unit to start this amp up. I don't, so I have to run a complete separate unit. But I will keep this handy because it is good to have. You might be wondering what this telephone looking wire is for. This is actually for our bass knob, which is in this box somewhere. We've got to find that. That'll be the next thing we get. I believe this is 6 meters long, and this attaches the amp up to the bass knob, which sits up on the dash. Okay. A+ for protection, Pioneer. A+. So we've got some Phillips head screws and an Allen wrench, or Allen key, however you want to call it. So this is double layer bubble wrap. So they've actually gone and excelled. Oh, look at that. That is nice. And we've got a couple of screws to screw that one in. So I might keep that. So we've got our Pioneer dash bass knob. This puppy here is basically like your gain knob on your actual amp, but it sits up on the dash, and we can, it's a stepped knob. That is so nice to use. So it mounts upside down like that, and then you can just turn it if you want more bass, and then bring it back if you don't. So on the Mini, I'm actually going to mount this under where like people store their coins and phone and stuff. There is a USB and an aux input on the right hand side. I'm going to put this on the left hand side because it's about the same size, and that's a full aluminium enclosure on that. Very nice. And there's the terminal there, which this wire clips into. So modular, yeah. I'm going to just chuck that back into its bubble wrap along with its hardware just here, so we don't damage it. Now this is the point that we've all been waiting for. I'm going to get out the actual amp itself. Oh, okay. This amp just fell off the table. Okay, so it is encased in foam, which is good. There's no packaging damage at all from transit, so they've kept it in excellent condition in transport, which is awesome. Oh, okay. This is a really heavy amp. I have a 500 watt Pioneer amp downstairs, which drives 6x9s down in the studio. That thing weighs maybe 300, 400 grams. This thing weighs 3.5 kilos, 3.3. Anyway, I'm hoping the extra weight equates to extra performance. So, it's that time. Let's pull this off the tripod. Gotta do it, ready? Oh, hang on. It's sticky, it's hard to do. That was oh so satisfying. So there is the amplifier. We've got, it feels like a steel enclosure with the carbon fiber looked plastic on the top, or epoxy or something. It is very reflective, so I'm going to have to be on my A game for cleaning. Okay, for I/O, we've got positive, negative, 4 gauge. We've got what looks to be potentially 8 gauge remote in. We've got 3 40 amp fuses, and then 8 gauge speaker outputs. Now we're going to run one of these or obviously two, one channel. This is just if you're running dual subs and you have two inputs on the actual sub box, but I'm building mine to parallel them, so I've got one ohm. On the other side, it's a heavy amp. We've got RCA out for pass-through, RCA in, gain, the cutoff frequency for the sub, and we've got our bass booster remote. I will be trying that out in the studio, connecting it to a battery bank, and then trying to run the Pioneer Champion series. I've only got one at the moment. The other one's expected to arrive Monday next week. So, right when I got my HSC, so that's fun. But that's fine, we've got our amp, and we will have a look at our wiring harness. Check this out. Okay. We've got some hardware. We've got two 4-gauge ring terminals. Yeah, I'll zoom this in. Two 4-gauge ring terminals, a positive and negative terminal protection thing. No, sorry, terminal protection thing. A bunch of zip ties, some grommets to get through the firewall to protect the cable, and what else have we got? We've got a remote wire, protection boot, that's pretty much it. We've got a HC fuse, which is rated at 100 amps. It's got a 100 amp HC fuse in a nice fuse protector. We've got some 4-gauge, apparently it's called a Hyperflex oxygen-free power cable. Now this is not full OFC, because it's not copper, it's copper-clad aluminium. Yeah, I'll zoom this in. It's copper-clad aluminium, so not as good conductivity as copper, but it will do just perfectly for this install, and it has that really nice new cable smell. That is important. We've got 6 meters of RCA, which we will use, but we don't need 6 meters of it because I'm taking from the rear, left and right 6x9s, so we don't need 6 meters of it, but we'll just roll it up and shove it in a side panel. We've got, I think they said 10 meters of what looks probably 14 gauge speaker wire. I'll be using 8 gauge inside the sub boxes going to the terminal, and then maybe, I don't know, I might just use some of this or something, depending. I do have some thicker speaker cable that I could run from the terminal to the amp. Probably, I think it's 10 gauge. That's fine. We've got, inside of this plastic housing here, we've got our ground cable, which is pretty much identical to this cable here, except black. Once again, it is copper-clad aluminium, which you can see if you hold it on an angle, it is actually slightly, if you can see it, slightly copper-coloured, which shows that it's copper-clad aluminium, and it's not just aluminium. Anything else in here? That should be it. Remote wire. Yep, there we go. And here we've got, probably looks like a 16 or 20 gauge remote wire. That's 6 meters as well. Just your standard 4 gauge wiring kit. time and it looked crispy. But now we're at Cazoo's and there, and we're going to pay for it. We've already put a $500 deposit on it, and we're going to pay the rest right now. Do all the insurance stuff, and then we get to drive it away. So next shot you'll see is some nice B-roll of the car, and then some sick pulls through a tunnel. So, now I am standing in the middle of the road, but no, there it is there. Yeah, they even put a bow on it. That is so cool. Thank you so much, Sean. Would you like to be in the video?
Sure, why not?
So this is Sean. He's the salesperson who actually arranged all this for me. He's a really good guy. And he works at Cazoo's.
Cazoo's.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Sean.
Thank you.